I grew up in church, but I didn't grow up in Christ. And as I would come to learn that those two things are not the same, faith never really had any bearing on my life. So in college, just really destructive tendencies. I think I might have been drunk for 5 years. I used to keep liquor bottles like trophies, like I had accomplished something.
So Wes and I met our freshman year of college. Really, our relationship was based around partying. We graduated college, and then he asked me to marry him. And at that point, I was kind of starting to get out of the party phase. I knew that I wanted more for my life, and he was still kind of in that, but I loved him. So we got married about a year later. After we moved to Louisville, we both kind of started pursuing things outside of our marriage.
It's very possible I could be in jail. It's very possible I couldn't be here at all. Alcohol-related things, poor decision-making, they progressively got worse.
We hit that breaking point. There was a night we got in a huge fight. I got on my knees for the first time and just prayed. I just felt completely hopeless. And I just remember saying, God, please help us.
We were looking at divorce, so I had a choice to make. Was I going to continue to sort of go down this path, or was I going to pursue my wife and try to make things right?
It was a couple days, and he said, I want to work on this marriage. And I said the same thing. But I said, I think we need to go to church. We can't do this on our own. It was not easy. We would drive to the parking lot and he wouldn't get out of the car. So it was definitely a process.
I didn't want to be there. I would see people with their hands raised, people praying, people crying. It made me physically uncomfortable because I knew I was going to have to face something. I knew I was going to have to face the way I had been living. I knew I was going to have to face the choices that I had been making, and I didn't want to do that. There was a moment for me. I was in my bedroom. There wasn't anything particularly eventful about that day, and I just got it. Just in an instant, what was ridiculous to me the day before, God opened my eyes. He opened my heart. I came to my senses because I knew that I had been living in a way that didn't honor him. And I didn't want to live like that anymore. I didn't want to make the same decisions. I think very tenderly, very lovingly, God said, look what you've done. I have a better way for you. And he saved me.
We just really started growing in our faith together. And we had never done that before. Yeah. Once we started going to church, it was just a process of rebuilding a new marriage because our old marriage was gone and it was broken and it really couldn't be fixed without starting new. It was a lot of hard work, but the Lord redeemed so many things for us.
Since then, it has just been the joy of my life to follow Jesus and trust him. Life was good. Family was good. Marriage was strong. Kids were happy. Everything was good. And I was invited on a mission trip in 2023 across the world. I didn't even have a passport at the time. Our youngest was only 6 months old. I had 50 reasons to say no, but I strongly felt like God was calling me to do this. And I'm so glad that I did because it changed my life. I realized how big God was. And I felt his peace, and I just knew this is what I'm supposed to do.
Wes came back, and he just had a changed heart. And I think when you go see the world and you go see that not everyone has the same access to Jesus like we do.
What would it look like if people from Southeast could do that same thing in other parts of the world? It became a full-time position at the church. I'm now the director of global professionals at Southeast, and what that means is we want people to think about what they're good at and lean into that. Lean into the career that you have. Full-time ministry doesn't have to mean you work at a church. Full-time ministry just means that you're glorifying God, making disciples in whatever workplace you happen to be in to reach the unreached parts of the world.
The old me is gone. The old marriage is gone. And all of that has been made new and redeemed because of Jesus. When I live each day, it's for His glory, for His kingdom, and the grace and the mercy that Jesus has shown us. We want to help others be able to know that the talents and the gifts, the personalities that He's given us, everything about us is all to be used for His glory. We can truly change this world.
I used to sit in the parking lot. I wouldn't even get out of the car. I didn't want anything to do with Jesus. He never gave up on me. At the very beginning, He said, "You can trust me. Trust me." And I did. And He calls for sacrifice, the same sacrifice that Christ made for us in our decision making, in our finances, in our marriage, in our parenting. He wants all of it. And He has created each person individually, uniquely, with talent, with resources, with personality, and every single person has a gift to give to the kingdom.